Thank you for joining us, and welcome to the Allapattah Main Street launch. I'm Jacqueline Pena, the chair of the Allapattah Collaborative CDC board, and I have the honor of opening today's Allapattah Main Street launch. Before we jump into our conversations and presentations, I would like to share some COVID safety guidelines. First, wear your mask at all times. If you need another mask, there are masks available at the Allapattah Collaborative CDC engagement table in the back, where you'll find Ms. Shirley Granados, our health ambassador, who's waving at us. Hi, Shirley. We also have hand sanitizers and sanitizing wipes at the table available for you. If you have any COVID safety questions or concerns, Shirley will be happy to help you. Today's event is also being streamed live via Facebook. Thank you to those of you who are joining us virtually. We truly appreciate all your support. And thank you to the fabulous team making the Facebook Live possible. We have to be a happy crowd today. It's Wednesday. Cinco de Mayo. We also have our local media present today. Thank you to our media for being here to support the Allapattah community and this Main Street launch. Just be aware that even though the event is primarily in English, we speak Spanish as well. And we can speak with you after the event. You can also speak with our Allapattah small business owners and residents who are present today. Para los reporteros que están aquí hoy, muchos de nosotros hablamos español también. Podemos hablar después del evento y pueden hablar también con los dueños de los negocios de Allapattah y con los residentes. Y para todos que están aquí hoy, si tienen alguna duda, pregunta o solo quisieran hablar más de nuestros programas en español, podemos hablar después del evento. Okay, so before I share my story and our story, I want to honor the history of Allapattah. I want to commemorate that we're standing in Little Santo Domingo. This is a great crowd. Please join me in a moment of silent reflection to commemorate the history of Allapattah and those who came before us, because we acknowledge that we are standing on their shoulders. So let's take a moment for silent reflection. Thank you. So as a business owner and an Allapattah landowner, this community has become near and dear to my heart. This community makes me feel like I belong here. And that sense of belonging is hard to find in Miami, especially when you move here as an adult. It is a feeling that is not always so easy when you're also a third culture child or third culture Dominican, meaning that my parents were born in the Dominican Republic and I was born here in the United States. My roots are in the Dominican Republic. My first homes and experiences are in the Dominican Republic, but my home is actually here in the US. And I want to thank the Allapattah community for making me feel welcomed, for making me feel like I belong, for making me feel like I'm part of a family. And as part of that Allapattah community, I was honored to be invited to serve on the Allapattah Steering Committee that created the Equity Development Action Plan in 2018. The work wasn't easy. The results were sometimes scary when you look at the potential future of our community. And also, if you look at what could happen if we don't roll up our sleeves and work with and for our community. And the results were also hopeful, believe it or not, and at many times inspiring, showing us a path to not just surviving as a community, but thriving together. That Equity Development Plan, the EDAP, you'll hear about it a few times today, led to the Allapattah Collaborative CDC. And the Allapattah Collaborative then led to Allapattah Main Street, the whole reason we're here today. I'm grateful to the Allapattah Collaborative for giving me an opportunity to not just serve on that first team, which is now the steering committee, but also now on the organization's board as the board chair. And again, Mileyka, thank you once again to you and the rest of the board and the team for giving me an opportunity to serve. Thank you. At this point, before we bring up our executive director, we would like to talk, who will talk more about the Allapattah Collaborative CDC and Allapattah Main Street. We would like to frame the conversation by having Mr. Julio Diaz share a few words with us. Julio is the owner of the 6th Borough on 3531 Northwest 17th Avenue. We actually met working on that EDAP together. He's in the heart of the business corridor, is part of the steering committee, and is also a client participating in our first small business Mr. cohort. Julio, please join me up here on stage.
May will mark my 16th year on 17th Avenue. My business specializes in streetwear for men and women. I have my own line, which the name is Cowboy Clothing, and the name comes because I have no hair. So that's how I came up with the name. Many years ago, I met Mileyka, our executive director. She made a great first impression on me because she showed so much heart and so much love for the Dominican neighborhood that it was unbelievable. She got me interested in joining the coalition to bring resources to 17th Avenue, and that's how I joined the steering committee. Since then, I have met great professionals that have helped me in many ways. For example, I had a leak in my business for 3 years. Landlord would not do anything. It was because of old pipes or a hole in the roof, I don't know. But the committee arranged for a congressman from Tallahassee to come to my store, and within a couple of days, the problem was solved. And that showed me concrete proof of the reach of the committee, that it wasn't just theory. As a client, I was able to get a grant during the closure because of the pandemic. The committee has helped me get SBA loans, which secured a peace of mind that I knew that my business was going to make it through the pandemic. My favorite part of the committee was that I finally was able to put a face on the owners of the businesses. I've been driving down the street for 17 years, and I actually saw who owned the places now. So that was one of my favorite parts. And the Zoom meetings that we had every Wednesday. The main lesson that I learned on the training, that for many years I struggled. I tried to please everybody that came into my store, and I realized that I couldn't. The committee showed me that I had to pick a customer base and stick to it, and that has helped me tremendously with my sales and the way that I look at my business now. Allapattah has been neglected for years. It's a great neighborhood with a high buying power. As you can see, there are businesses in every inch of this street. There's a business, even on the sidewalk. Some people might be scared of coming here because of the news they hear, the media, but this is a great place. It's a great melting pot of Latin America. We have great businesses, like I said. We have great hairstylists. We have great food restaurants. We have fashion. My store is here. We need to keep on investing in this neighborhood. And one of the things that we need to invest a lot in is crime prevention. And maybe the media could report more positive things like the event today, to bring a brighter light into the neighborhood. Well, thank you very much. And I'm proud of being a business owner in Allapattah.
What makes the Allapattah Collaborative CDC such a unique organization is that in our model, the community leads and the board serves. The steering committee, which developed the EDAP, the Equity Development Action Plan, is composed of residents, business owners, and landowners. These individuals are Jasmeli de la Cruz, Julio Diaz, Hernan Guerrero, Jennifer Jaregui, Maria Mercado, myself, Jacqueline Pena, Benji Power, Jessica Rodriguez, and Victor Rodriguez. The steering committee identifies the most pressing issues and keeps us always at the pulse of the community. From there, it's the board's job to find solutions to the problems. And also putting us and our expertise to work for the Allapattah community with those solutions. Our board members are Angela Cruz, Charles Dabney, Gabriela Guzman, Pablo Martinez, Ahmed Mori, and again myself, Jacqueline Pena. As you can see in our organizational model, we are truly a community-led organization, not a board-led organization. And we're here because of our community, and we're here for our community. Now, I would like to call our founder and executive director, the superwoman behind the Allapattah Collaborative CDC, Ms. Mileyka Burgos-Flores, to the podium.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for being here today. Before I start, it is important to recognize that the Allapattah Collaborative is grateful for the support of our elected officials, some of whom are here today with us, and some who could not be here but are supporting us through the journey. I also want to thank our funders, who typically we call our partners. Among them, the City of Miami. Thank you, Mr. Tasso, for being here. Miami-Dade County, the Miami Foundation, J.M. Kaplan Foundation, the Jorge Perez Family Foundation, NALCAB, City Community Development, J.P. Morgan Chase, Keenan Charitable Trust, AT&T, Health Foundation of South Florida. Thank you, Annie, for being here. Community Justice Project, Comcast, Truist, and Hispanics in Philanthropy, who selected the Allapattah Collaborative CDC as the only organization in Florida to manage their HIPS Power Up Fund, providing financial relief to small businesses as we empower their growth. So thank you to all of them. We are also grateful to organizations like Radical Partners, Leyva, thank you, South Florida Community Development Coalition, NALCAB, City Community Development, thank you, Ines, and J.P. Morgan Chase for seeding this initiative. Doing this was not easy, y'all. I'm telling you, it's not easy. They made the Allapattah Collaborative a reality. Over $1.5 million has been invested by all those organizations since 2018 to make sure that this place-based initiative is a success. So thank you, thank you, thank you so much. I want to give a special thank to Manuel Ochoa from Ochoa Urban Collaborative, who has been by our side since we met in 2018, and Ines for introducing us. We had a clear goal of protecting and preserving Miami's cultural essence. Thank you so much, Manuel. We want to thank the Allapattah residents who have helped shape the cultural and economic fabric of the community. And also, we want to highlight our small business owners who invested in Allapattah during the toughest times, especially in the 1980s after the McDuffie riots, who built the microeconomy that sustained this community for decades. Allapattah was forgotten, y'all, after those riots, and these small businesses picked it all up and gave us the beautiful commercial corridors we have today. So kudos to them. The efforts of the Allapattah Collaborative started way before its inception. After completing the EDAP that Jackie spoke about, we saw the need to establish an organization focused on highlighting our community assets, implementing the action plan we had just created, and capitalizing on the uniqueness of our community. This community-led organization that puts the need of the community front and center. Small businesses were being displaced and did not have access to available resources. We saw how the community was being left out of many important decisions that shape our neighborhood. We realized that displacement and lack of opportunity were eradicating not just the essence of Allapattah, but also of many Miami's cultural neighborhoods, taking with it our history, our small businesses, and our vulnerable families. These community changes happened so gradually that they were very hard to spot, to sound off the alarm. But we saw it, and we listened to the people who felt and lived through this silent crisis. That's why we established the Allapattah Collaborative, to meet this challenge with a holistic and intentional approach, focused on education, engagement, wealth creation, and asset building to preserve our community's authenticity, its sustainability, and its legacy. The Main Street approach was paramount to our strategy. We cannot talk about true, and I'm talking about true economic development, without understanding that meeting people where they are is the first thing we need to do. This is exactly what we have done so far at the Allapattah Collaborative. One of our first hurdles was the COVID-19 pandemic, as we became a lifeline for small businesses and prevented the closure of many mom-and-pop shops in our commercial corridor. We implemented the Small Business Resiliency Cohort and supported many small businesses with access to capital, legal services, and technical assistance. We connected them with coaches, built their online visibility, lifted barriers to capital, improved their operation, and secured over $1 million for Allapattah small businesses since June of 2020. But most importantly, the community built through the program, like what Julio mentioned, provided that moral support that they needed to surpass this unforeseen challenge as a business owner, as a parent, and as a head of household. It's been difficult for all of us. This pandemic has been brutal, and it's been very, very tough for Allapattah community. So the Allapattah Collaborative also did a few more things through 2020. We elevated the stories of mom-and-pop storefronts and residents through a partnership with Univision called Scars of the Pandemic, Cicatrices de la Pandemia. We were the epicenter of coronavirus, and that's why it was so important for us to do that. We also hosted a 5-part series titled Monday Night Talks, the intersection of business and health, with the Miami Foundation to discuss how this pandemic was affecting our small businesses. We partnered with the Health Foundation of South Florida to implement the Stay Healthy Allapattah, an initiative to provide small business owners the information, supplies, and incentives they needed to keep their staff and clients safe during the COVID pandemic. Through our collaboration in the Public Land for Public Good Coalition, we advocate for increased and meaningful, I'm going to repeat that word, meaningful early engagement of the community in the land development process. Amplifying the community's voices and ensuring they have a seat at the table is essential to the sustainability of our commercial corridor and our neighborhood. Training youth to be successful advocates for the community that they love. Operationally, we have been able to secure over $800,000 for our amazing staff and programs. And honestly, I'm just here thinking and doing stuff and listening to people, but our team is composed of Santander Arguelles, our small business navigator, the one responsible of bringing all that money to these small businesses. Thank you, Santi. Shirley Granados, our health ambassador, who has been at the pulse with the community, making sure that their staff and clients are safe. Elisa Del Cordo, our community engagement coordinator. Francesca Escoto, our Director of Economic Development and Strategy. They are the ones who are elevating our community with access, knowledge, and education, meeting our community members where they are. To conclude, I want to thank Florida Secretary of State, Lara M. Lee, for granting us the Allapattah Main Street designation. Being designated as the only main street in the city of Miami propels us to share a replicable Main Street, urban Main Street, and community-centric models to help other communities do the same. We live in a very special place. Our goal is that our city transforms, the community is involved, and we make sure we keep the best of it. Now, I told you it wasn't easy, right? Obtaining that Main Street designation was a multi-year project that involved dozens and dozens of people, including our dear friend Christine Rubb, the Executive Director of the Heritage Trust. At this moment, I would like to ask Christine to please step up to the podium to tell us more about the importance of historic preservation and the value of Main Street approach as we preserve our communities.
Wow, you guys need to be so proud of yourselves for the work that you've accomplished. It's amazing, especially in this most challenging year. Kudos to all of you for this much needed work in Allapattah. For those of you that aren't familiar with Dade Heritage Trust, we're an historic preservation organization with a mission to preserve Miami-Dade County's architectural, environmental, and cultural heritage through education advocacy. So when you think about that multifaceted mission statement about people and their culture, about the environment and about the natural environment and the built environment, it's really about neighborhoods. And when you think about a typical Miami neighborhood with all of its facets, beautiful residential properties, tree-lined streets, historic commercial buildings, commercial entities, beautiful park spaces, Allapattah has every one of those important facets, which makes it such a significant neighborhood. We featured Allapattah as our cover story in our 2021 Preservation Today magazine because of the dynamic that exists in the neighborhood. And of course, what the Allapattah CDC, the Allapattah Collaborative CDC is doing in the neighborhood. It seems to me that the most effective and the best thing you guys have done is to create consensus. That is really difficult in the city of Miami because there are so many interests and so many politics and so many egos at play in just about every scenario. So the fact that you are speaking with one united voice is really a wonderful thing for the future of this beautiful initiative. So Dade Heritage Trust, with its historic preservation focus, really looks to preserve the historic fabric of a neighborhood, and in this case, the historic fabric of Main Street, Allapattah. We currently contracted with a consultant, and they're doing a survey of 17th Avenue to see what buildings would meet the requirements for historic designation. There are many economic benefits associated with designated buildings, from tax credits to the ability to sell development rights and more. And so we want to bring those beautiful benefits to Allapattah Main Street to ensure that the owners of these historically significant buildings have the financial resources to be able to rehabilitate, restore, and in some cases adaptively reuse those buildings in ways that benefit the community. You know, Miami is blessed in so many ways. I think that Miami needs to be the best place. We have the assets that other cities would die for, the history, the environmental beauty, the bay, the green spaces. Other cities would die for these assets, and we can't stress enough the beautiful diversity that lies within Miami. Look at our neighborhoods: Little Santo Domingo, Little Haiti, Little San Juan, now known as Wynwood Norte, Little Havana. all of these districts feature their own beautiful history and their own cultures, which need to be celebrated. And if we lose the buildings that symbolize those cultures and house those businesses that are emblematic of those cultures, we've lost the heart of Miami. So we're hoping that the Main Street approach that looks at a business district and holistically lifts up that business district through creative partnerships, through restoration, rehabilitation, through rebranding, through streetscape, will really be a significant, will provide significant improvements to Little Santo Domingo. And Dade Heritage Trust is right there with you. Whatever we can do to assist this effort through historic designation, through promotion, please count on us as a more than willing community partner. Thank you for all of your good work. Thank you for City Parks to host us in this beautiful green space in the middle of Allapattah.
Next, we'll hear from Fernando Trinidad, a small business leader in our Main Street on our Allapattah Main Street commercial corridor. Fernando will make his remarks in Spanish.
Gracias, muchísimas gracias, muchísimas gracias. Doy la gracia en nombre de los pequeños comerciantes de esta gran comunidad por la oportunidad de dirigirme a usted. Mi nombre es Fernando, mejor conocido como el Power, aquí en la comunidad de Allapattah. Hace 8 años llegué aquí a esta gran comunidad y me establecí aquí en nombre de Power Barbershop, Power Beauty Salon, Power Night y Power Banquet Hall. Créanme que me iba bastante bien hasta que llegó el COVID-19. El COVID-19 me arrebató de la mano uno de mis negocios, Power Banquet Hall, ya que este suponía para mí más del 50% de mis inversiones. Pero ahí llegó Allapattah CDC. Allapattah CDC llega a mi negocio y me dice: no está solo. No está solo porque hay muchas organizaciones, muchos programas económicos que tú tienes el derecho, la oportunidad para recibir ayudas económicas. Pero para eso tienes que dejarte dirigir. Obvio, me están ofreciendo lo que necesito. Digo, ok, ¿y qué tengo que hacer? Nada, solo nosotros estamos aquí. Gracias, Mileyka. Gracias, Santa. Gracias, Santa. Gracias, Santa. Resulta que ahí es donde comienzo a darme cuenta verdaderamente que hay organizaciones que dicen presente para defender a los pequeños comerciantes, como en este caso fue el mío. Me disculpo porque estoy muy emocionado. La verdad es que cuando yo comencé a dejarme guiar por Allapattah CDC, comencé a recibir los beneficios y comencé a regar la voz ante los pequeños comerciantes que estaban al lado mío, pasando por la misma situación. Y gracias a Allapattah CDC no tuve que cerrar la puerta de los demás negocios, que estuve a punto de cerrarlo, porque era en decadencia que iba. Resulta que ahí es donde le presento la organización, Aldón, Gasolina, Barbershop, todo aquello que de una forma u otra han tenido que ver con esta situación por la que hemos estado pasando, al igual que yo. Power Barbershop, Power Beauty Salon, Power Banquet Hall, seguimos ahí a pesar de las pérdidas, sin la turbulencia que nos ha dado el COVID-19, seguimos adelante. Y créanme que me siento muy agradecido de Allapattah CDC, porque gracias a Allapattah CDC he recuperado la confianza de mi negocio, al igual que muchos que hoy no tuvieron la oportunidad de estar aquí y decir gracias. Gracias Allapattah CDC, gracias Mileyka, gracias Fran, gracias Santi. Quisiera tener más para decir, pero creo que todo lo que puedo decir es poco. De Allapattah CDC, gracias. God bless you, Allapattah CDC, en nombre de los pequeños comerciantes de esta gran comunidad. Thank you so much.
So we're very grateful for our small business owners and for all the individuals who support them, so thank you so much. Next, we would like to ask Ms. Francesca Escoto, our Director of Economic Development and Strategy, to come up to the podium and share our vision and our next big goals.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Yes, it's a great morning to be outside. It was super hot this morning, now it's just hot. So that's a good thing. After the event, this is just a quick announcement, you will have a chance to taste mango bites in the back. We want the containers, okay? So it is plastic, but we want to be able to recycle, reuse, and all that good stuff. So enjoy at one of our businesses, Mango Bites, but do bring the containers back to where you picked them up. So awesome about that. I am so excited to be here. I met Mileyka when I was at the University of Miami as Assistant Director of Career Services. She was a student. Trust us, we're not that distant in age. We just happen to be at the same place at the same time. But it's been an adventure watching her become. And it's kind of an honor that she keeps tapping me to advise in her projects and to work with her in this capacity. So I was founding chairman of the organization, and then they said, please join us as a staff. We want you to do and talk less, so I'm going to talk less. The future of Allapattah shines brighter than ever. This neighborhood is founded on the immigrant entrepreneurial spirit that Miami was built on, and continues to house hardworking, innovative businesses that are ready to grow and expand. And you're getting a taste of them today, Helados Meals, Mango Bites, and some of the speakers that came forth earlier. We advocate for equitable development, economic inclusion, and social justice. From Capitol Hill to our local city hall, we advocate for low and middle income communities to ensure they have a seat at the table. Sometimes we create tables and chairs. We build key coalitions, community assets, confidence, and pride. Together with community and partners, we build a future where real economic justice, inclusiveness, sustainability, and upward mobility are attainable. We invest in human capital, sweat equity, immigrants' dreams, just like myself, cultural identity, and community ownership. The authenticity of our neighborhood should be preserved by investing in the elements that make it unique. Our business resiliency cohort will continue to equip existing businesses in the corridor with the tools and the skills that are needed to thrive in this economy. But we're not going to stop there. We are making Allapattah an innovation hub, helping launch 50 new tech businesses startups or tech-based startups by 2025. That's a lofty goal. Yes. We're accomplishing this in collaboration with AT&T and Coursera, our partners in the identification and training of new technical talent in the neighborhood. We are also pushing beyond our comfort zone and boldly stepping into our calling to lead this community in the innovation economy. We are announcing today, right now, and you are part of that launch, our $10 million capital campaign, which will fund the purchase of land and the building of a space to incubate these 50 new businesses. The new building will follow the community land trust model. Yes. Ensuring that existing businesses can co-own their space and stay rooted in the neighborhood. $10 million for Allapattah represents the nurturing of entrepreneurs that live among us, making Allapattah a destination for a cultural experience, but also a commitment to help businesses stay and thrive. Join us in making Allapattah and the city of Miami a national model of equity, sustainability, and prosperity. I invite every one of you to be an active part of Allapattah's future. We hope you use your light to help us shine bright. Thank you.
Let me tell you, when we got calls from several organizations saying, hey, you have a pulse of Allapattah, we want to help the small businesses. Francesca, as the board chair, and I started like, oh my God, how are we going to do this? We have this program, but it's like in the middle of the pandemic. They don't know how to use Zoom. They don't know how to use the computer. How are we going to get all these businesses involved? And like, I cannot believe how coachable and trainable our businesses are, and how much and how thirsty they were for this information and this help. So thank you so much, Francesca, for all you do for us. So now, we are also grateful to the City of Miami and the district for the support, and appreciate some of you are here today on a very busy day, I'm sure. I want to invite Mr. Charles Scott on behalf of Congresswoman Federica Wilson.
Good morning to you all. It is indeed a pleasure to see Chrissy and the persons here who work with our office in so many different ways. Ms. Flores, I thank you for having me come. For those of you who don't know, I stand instead of a great lady by the name of Congresswoman Frederica S. Wilson. That's important for you to know. She grew up, part of her life in this community. And so it was not a problem at all for me to come here and speak with you this morning on her behalf. Our office, for those of you who don't know, we are a federally sanctioned enterprise from the Congress of the United States. And the Congresswoman has been one of the most impactful leaders we've had in South Florida from the congressional federal standpoint for the past almost 11 years. Why is it important, Ms. Flores? You see, the SBA had a program, there's three of them so far, to assist small businesses with funding through the pandemic. And through the hard work of the Congresswoman, I will let you know, this district has received over $1.5 billion with a B, not M. And we continue every day to encourage people to apply for the SBA funding. You may have heard yesterday that the second round funding is about to expire, it's about to run out. But there's still additional funds in the SBA program through loans and some of the grant programs and the forgiveness policies that are associated with that. On the second note, which is more important to a lot of people sitting here and their family members, etc., our office here, District Office in Miami, if you read the New York Times and the Washington Post last year, you would have seen a story where our district office was responsible for more immigrants from the Caribbean basin in Latin America getting their rights to live in America than any other federal office at the congressional or Senate level in the country. Little Santo Domingo, as you know, is based on the back of a lot of immigrants from literally Dominican Republic. I know that. I've been living in South Florida for 42 years. I'm from the Bahamas originally, and I had the distinct pleasure of living in New York for a while. And if you look at what we have here in Little Santo Domingo, you see that there's a history and a correlation of development that truly similar to that of the Bronx in New York back in the 1960s and 70s. There's a lot of opportunity here. And those of you who have been blessed to have the vision to see the opportunities and take advantage of them for the betterment of yourselves and your families, I can only congratulate you. Ms. Flores, without a shadow of a doubt, the best is yet to come for Allapattah. As the Director of Outreach for the Congresswoman, I will tell you my interactivities on a daily basis with the community and elected officials in South Florida and the country as a whole bring me very often to opportunities like this. Yesterday, if you saw the Miami Herald this morning, it would tell you of a campaign we started even yesterday from the Congressional Black Caucus to literally start and increase the levels of vaccines coming into the city, especially to the African American and Hispanic communities. We have a very long way to go, but we have to get there very quickly because the impact of the third wave of the coronavirus is significant and it definitely needs to be addressed. From a business standpoint, your assistance is very much needed because the federal government does very little in terms of marketing information of opportunities that comes through the federal government. And I take this opportunity to remind you of this. I shan't take long because I do know that the day is very hot, but by the same token, I need to impart upon you that our office is always available. We have a very interesting office. We'll share all of you sitting here. We never shut down during a hurricane. We never shut down during COVID-19. We never shut down. That's a fact. When people call from other states trying to get the federal government, if you don't know sitting in Washington, D.C., there's someone you can get in our office. As the outreach director, I make that a point. I came from work with South Florida Water Management before I worked with South Florida with Congressman Frederica Wilson. We are the only office of its kind in the country where 24/7 we make ourselves available. If you can't get us immediately, leave a message for us, someone will call you back. I have not taken a break from COVID-19. Just letting you know that. So we've been processing the SBA programs, we've been processing immigration issues, we've been processing critical needs. Housing, which is a very critical area as well. And Allapattah is going to play a major role in the housing redevelopment of South Florida. I'm encouraging you to be mindful of it. And Flores, like you said, you have to participate in the decision making at the table. Christina, exactly what I'm talking about, because the preservation of Dade County's heritage is critical in the context of redevelopment. And I want you to know, you have a voice. You need to exercise it. Most certainly be at the table. And like you say, sometimes you create the chairs if you need to, but you definitely be at the table in the decision making process. I will read you a letter from the Congresswoman to you all. And I want you to know, Ms. Flores, we need to be engaged on a greater level, without a shadow of a doubt. I say it to you in all sincerity. I'm putting together packages of economic development for different cities in South Florida. It's important for CDCs like yours to be at the table as well. I sit on the board of a few CDCs, so I can speak to that in uncertain terms. And it's with that in mind that this letter was generated to give you a perspective from the Congresswoman, her intent to continue to persevere in developing her district, FL24, as well as the South Florida community as a whole. By the way, she is the ranking member on the Transportation Infrastructure Committee. She also the chairwoman of the Ports and Seaports Committee for the Congress, and also she is the chairwoman of the subcommittee on women, children, labor issues as well in the Congress. So you're talking with somebody who has some serious quote-unquote juice to assist in everything you're trying to achieve here in turning 17 avenues to Main Street for the city of Allapattah. Dear Ms. Flores, it is with great pleasure that I congratulate Allapattah Main Street for its recent designation as a Florida Main Street program. Main Street helped over 2,000 communities across the country bring economic vitality back downtown while celebrating the historic character and bringing communities together. It is my hope that this designation will do the same for Allapattah and the city of Miami. I look forward to working with you to improve the quality of life for all those we serve and who will entrust us to be their voice. Ms. Flores, that is from the office of Congresswoman Frederica S. Wilson, Congressional District Representative for FL24. I thank you so very much. Looking forward to our continued collaboration and working together. God bless you all. Thanks so much.
What an honor to have the support of Congresswoman Frederica Wilson. Thank you so much, Mr. Scott. Now I'd like to welcome Commissioner Diaz de la Portilla's Chief of Staff, Carla Fortuny.
He wasn't able to make it, as well as Mayor Francis Suarez, but they are overjoyed of the work that the Allapattah Collaborative has done here for our community. The commissioner himself not only represents this district, but he grew up here. His own family has a small business that they've had for decades. It is not only the district he represents, but his home as well. He is so overjoyed of everything that is being done here today. He always says that Allapattah is the hidden gem of the city of Miami, and that he is very proud of all the work that you guys are doing to not make it so hidden anymore, and to show the people what we really have here. So thank you. Here's a proclamation signed by the mayor and Commissioner Alex Diaz de la Portilla for the Allapattah Collaborative.
I think we're proclamation happy today. We also received a proclamation from Senator Jason Pizzo, who could not be here with us today, but we wanted to take a moment to acknowledge his support and share the proclamation that he gave us with all of you. Next, I'd like to call Jackie Peña back to the podium to close this event with me.
So before we officially close today's program, we have one more special surprise. Now, I know that ribbon cuttings are usually for new places or spaces, but we wanted to celebrate the only main street in the city of Miami, and we wanted to mark the first day of the Allapattah Main Street $10 million capital campaign. And so we would like to close our event with our own ribbon cutting. So I would like to ask Francesca Escoto and Miss Elisa de Corto to join us up here in front of the stage as our official ribbon holders. We actually have a ribbon hiding back here.
This is for the small businesses in Allapattah. This is for Allapattah Main Street. Thank you all for coming, and let's do this. Let's do the honors. You guys want to help me? Come on. Venga, don Aquino, ayúdeme, venga. Ese sí sabe de tijera. 1, 2. Gracias. Señor Fidel Aquino, a la señora Lesbi, a todos los que están aquí hoy, todos los negociantes, al Don. Estoy tan contenta que tantos negocios de Allapattah se han unido a este esfuerzo. Allapattah CDC is excited to share the richness of the Dominican culture in Allapattah by reviving the cultural offerings the community has to share, including the art, the food, the music, the traditions, the folklore. The city of Miami is aligned with this community economic development strategy as stated in the 2019-2023 City of Miami Consolidated Plan. So Roberto Tasso, we got work to do. Aside from highlighting the authenticity of the Little Santo Domingo and Allapattah Main Street areas, this improvement will create new employment opportunities, improved infrastructure, and a broader tax base. Our residents and business owners have done so well building and sustaining this microeconomy that Allapattah has been gaining local and national attention. Now, as the Allapattah Collaborative and Allapattah Main Street, we just ask one thing. Let's work together to help this commercial corridor thrive and keep the beautiful fabric that makes the Allapattah community unique. Please check out our website, contribute to the organization, and let's partner on the economic inclusion and equity where the community is at the center of it all. Thank you all for being here today. Woo!